With Halloween right around the corner, we're already bracing ourselves for the overload of candy we're about to be seeing around us. Even with the ongoing pandemic and social distancing, kids have created candy chutes and figured out a way to distribute candies. It's official, Halloween 2020 is still on. Halloween is the only day where everyone needs to be aware of the holy candy hierarchy. Kids nowadays are very picky about the sugar they put into their bodies, but as adults, we also need to hand out candy that won't ruin a poor child's Halloween. That's why we've carefully curated this list as guidance. Top 10 Best Presents. Top 10 Worst Halloween Candies for Ruining Halloween. 10. Smarties. Do you remember those colored chalks you'd play with as a kid? Take that, add some low-grade sugar into it, and you get Smarties. Not only are their flavors incredibly artificial, but the texture is very unsettling. So much so that it almost sticks to the base of your tongue. They're also an indication of extreme penny pinching because each roll costs about 7 cents. Don't take away the only good thing about Halloween and ruin the candy trading system by giving these out. What's even worse is that a few years ago, some kids tried to, well, smoke these nasty candies. They also tried to snort them, which causes so many respiratory issues that you won't be able to count on your fingers. So, if you're an adult, it's actually your responsibility not to hand these candies out. 9. Tootsie Rolls. Tootsie Rolls are also the master of disguise. Either that, or you have to be really weird to like them because they just have a chocolatey seeming nature, when in reality, they're nowhere near chocolatey. They're also extremely chewy, so get ready for your jaw to hurt all night. These candies come with a permanent staleness because they mix their previous batch into the new one. Hooray for recycling? The damage they do to their teeth is also so much worse than any other candy. The sticky and gooey substance sticks to your teeth long after you've swallowed it. As more and more kids are getting braces and fillings done, the sweet caramel will definitely pull out a few fillings. One of the weirdest facts about Tootsie Rolls is that they're so tough that they were used in World War II by the Americans, who could use the candies to pelt the Nazis to death. 8. Necco Wafers. Made for the first time all the way in 1847, they're really nothing special. Perhaps that's why they were discontinued in 2018 when the owner declared bankruptcy. The new owner was already famous for saving troubled brands, such as Pabst Blue Ribbon and Chef Boyardee. However, even Round Hill Investments was not able to save the nostalgic wafers. According to New English Today, it had sanitation problems and had to be shut down. If that hasn't convinced you not to buy or give it away, then nothing will. Other than that, the wafer was frequently named the worst Halloween candy even when it was still in production. Unfortunately, the wax paper of a wafer returned in 2020. Just because they're back doesn't mean you have to buy them for Halloween. After all, BuzzFeed did say it was okay to TP those houses that hand out Necco wafers on Halloween. 7. Chocolate Coins. Chocolate wrapped in shiny foil paper seems very tasty in theory. Still, for one reason, in reality, it's never anywhere the expected taste. It's either too waxy and sticks to the roof of your mouth, or the amount of chocolate is so less that it just feels like a mouthful of sugar. That could be why Cadbury stopped producing them 2 months before the Christmas of 2014. It could be because of all the time they spent on the shelves, or they're just not produced well in the first place. In fact, in 2008, a batch of chocolate coins were recalled after the authorities discovered that they had been tainted with melamine. They were worried that kids might try to eat the infected coins, but then again, they had high expectations for their own chocolate. Nothing can make these worthless coins edible. 6. Double Bubble Gum. Technically, giving out bubblegum on Halloween is borderline wrong, but we'll let it slide because there are more serious candy crimes going on. But out of all the bubblegum you choose to give out, if you decide on Double Bubble, then perhaps you should put a piece in your mouth and taste it. If you like the tough, concrete-like texture of the and continue to chew on little bits of paper too, then you can keep the rest to yourself. No one else wants to waste time chewing on bubblegum that resembles more or less a tasteless, rubbery mass. It also feels like the bubblegum leaves behind its flavor in the wrapper itself because it barely lasts a few seconds. When you realize that an accountant invented this brand, it all makes sense why he came up with such a boring chewing gum. 5. Whatever those orange and black things are called. Jaffas? You know, those rock-hard candies that taste like nothing but molasses and still manage to give you a toothache? The production company also tries to stay low because these orange and black candies have no name or any description on them. This also gives them an easy way to add anything literally to it. But no amount of additions or reductions can make these dreadful pieces resemble any sort of candy. After hours and hours on Wikipedia, we have found out their name, and they're called a Jaffa. 4. Good and plenty. The miniature pink and white capsules look super cute all wrapped up, but that's about it. They only look in the packaging because they're not supposed to be eaten. They might look really cute on the outside thanks to the wonderful color palette. As you bite into them, you get a mouthful of the worst type of licorice, black. Considering it's the oldest branded candy in America, it's time they change up their flavors or eliminate this one as a whole. The fact that they're still in business means that someone is still buying these. Hopefully not for Halloween. One way Good and Plenty trick their customers is by making the pink ones cherry flavored. What a diabolical disguise. Did you know that even the pink ones are dyed with K. carmine, which is produced by crushing female insects? How wonderful. 3. Candy jewelry. Candy jewelry is a cross between two things that are perfectly enjoyable separately. But when you join them together, although it consists mostly of candy necklaces and ring pops, we've heard of things like candy bikinis, but thankfully, no one is foolish enough to hand those out on Halloween. This category falls under the chalk, but even more inedible, just like Smarties. They're only slightly worse because Smarties come wrapped up in plastic, but for the necklaces and bracelets, the more you wear them, the stickier they get. And by the end of the day, your wrists will attract nothing but ants and many other insects. Imagine eating something that's been exposed to the bare hands of multiple people. Your wrist, and God knows how much sweat it has collected. They might be fun to make with your friends on a sleepover or some sort of summer camp, but even then, you shouldn't eat them. 2. Jawbreakers. Jawbreakers are no better than double bubblegum because they take up so much precious time that you could be used to stuff your mouth with chocolate and other candies that are not on this list. Jawbreakers would be a godsend if their flavors weren't so weak and pasty. Don't overestimate the power and hardness of these pool balls because your teeth might already be weak from eating so much junk. Besides that, not all, when kids see these gigantic pieces of stone, they're very tempted to chow down on them. Making more room for injury when there are people who put razor blades in cookies is not something you want to do. It also takes a ridiculously long time to finish it. So, after each lick, you'll have to keep the sticky ball down on a dirty surface and then pick it up again. In a pandemic, that is the single worst thing you can encourage a child to do. 1. Anything that isn't candy. Hopefully the last one doesn't surprise anyone. Anything non-candy does not belong in the trick-or-treat bag. We know that chocolate isn't the best for children, especially because of how much the sugar rush influences them. But this is the one day where they can rejoice in all their unhealthy glory. Don't ruin this one day by giving children caramel apples, or worse, raisins. Forget about homemade treats too, because every parent will throw them out instantly. This also includes weird popcorn balls and even your grandma's famous cookies. Manufacturers and store-bought candy is what the children want. Oh, and please, no toothbrushes. That's a wrap for Top 10 Worst Halloween Candy for Ruining Halloween. Which one of these candies will you be crossing off your bucket list? What are your big plans for Halloween 2020? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for similar content. See you in the next one.